don't know what happened earlier. For YouTube viewers, it turns out that I had accidentally started streaming about quarter hour before I was actually supposed to, and thankfully it only lasted about 21 seconds, but nothing actually happened. It was just me setting up the Minecraft world, I guess. We're gonna cheat because my microphone is set to a little high in terms of audio capture. That'll do for now. There we go. So, last stream was very fascinating. Let me put this onto this one. Last stream was very fascinating because my computer kind of overheated and was causing a whole bunch of issues, basically prematurely ending the stream. And because of that, I didn't actually know until I hit the usual time, until I hit the 3 hour mark. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll end the stream. I come to OBS and it's already stopped streaming. And I didn't realise at the time how much of it was cut off. And because of that, how much of what I did last week, it was just not recorded. This is actually quite interesting because near the end of last week's stream, I discovered something rather fascinating with the build itself. So the build that we did, or part of the build that we did last week, is that we did one of that's the wrong image. We were doing one of these slopey bits, right? Usually not a problem. Not a problem, generally speaking. Except by the end of it, we had discovered that the circle that we had created in the episode was lopsided. It was in fact so terribly lopsided that it basically needs to be redone. Now, something else that we also discovered is the fact that it starts off a little too small as well, and by that, if I load this up, get into the game, if I come over here, so here we've got this large concrete block, right? And it comes to roughly halfway of the entrance. Clicking on the wrong things here. Which isn't how it is in the image. It doesn't come halfway up the door, it comes just below halfway up the door. So, the entirety of that part that we did last week has to be redone. It just simply has to be. I can't correct it otherwise. There is no real way of changing it to fit the actual circle that we have now, the base that we have now. But in between last week and this week, I discovered something cool. This place symmetry, there we go, this setup symmetry block basically allows us to do what the clone control R sequence does, but it flips it, it mirrors it on the other side. So theoretically, we could just do one side of this build and then boop, done halfway through. And how I figured that out was a lot of trial and error, mostly error, and it was very fun, shall we say. Very fun indeed. I also discovered last week's stream that you couldn't hear the background noise, the background music that I had. That is because I had it set to the wrong output channel. See, it went to output channel 3 instead of output channel 1, so it means you guys weren't hearing the music I was hearing. So all the time I was complaining about the music, you guys weren't hearing it. So hopefully you can hear it now. And hopefully that it's not too loud. Let me lower it so I can actually hear myself as well. I could just do that instead. You could hear the game, but you couldn't hear the music. That's my fault. So, with that being said, we now have to correct this thing. I did get some feedback on these trees that are supposed to be thicker versions of these, and I put moss here to try and replicate the thicker fir leaves. However, someone who I know in real life who watched the stream last week said that moss wouldn't work. They would need to be replaced with something that actually has a leaf texture like spruce or pale oak. So, sorry for the flash. There we go. If we keep the inner section as moss, and change the outer layer with this, including up here, or right over here. We'll do one of the spruce and then one of pale oak, just so we can get an understanding. Now, I quite like the spruce leaves because they're much closer to this, which means the moss inside gives it a thickness, whereas if it was all moss or all leaves, it just doesn't work. I'm not sure about keeping the glass there though. But at this rate, I don't think we can change it and it still have the same effect. But we'll have to figure this out another day, because today is correcting this. Now you may be wondering, just how much exactly do we need to change in order to, figure out whether or not this is right or wrong. Before we do that, we should probably replace so we can actually place blocks instead of replacing them. What was I doing? Yeah, so you see this wall right here? Well, it turns out this wall is a little too far out in comparison to this wall, or this part of the wall. Even though it looks like it should be centered, it isn't, which is why this block is here. From this block onwards, it's 12. from this block over here to this one is also 12. As you can see, it's about 4 blocks short. Now, I don't think we can actually change much because I've logged out and then logged back in again and then logged out and then logged back in again. So whatever history there is of this, of our changes to this world, just gone, simply as. However, what I do want to try and do is see how much of this world we can actually copy. I just realised we could also do the copy thing with the clone. If we do Control F instead of Control R. Now, I'm not entirely sure how deep or how far we should actually go with this, considering what we actually have at the moment. What I mean by that is, should we copy from this complete side to that complete side and then just try and rebuild this wall back up there? Because I think the stairs are the same on both sides. Again, we don't have a picture of the back of it, so we're just working with what we've got. And what we have is images for the inside of it and images for the outside of it, facing the front. I'm guessing that he logically thought that anybody who looks at this will see that I've only done one side and there's nothing visible on either side, so clearly it's just this side that has the detail and the rest of it is just the same, I guess. I don't know. I am not inside his head. I wish I would be, because that would make this significantly easier to do. We've got replace on, we've got replace on. Okay. Let's take replace off. Place this about one higher up so we can actually copy everything. And then we'll come all the way down here and copy this part. So Control F, and then it's not the arrow keys, it's this. That has flipped it vertically. Why has it flipped it? I know why it's flipped it vertically. Because I was looking down and I said to Control F, I should be looking at it facing the Z axis, X axis. One of those two. I'm not entirely sure which one is the blue one. So facing this way. Then we do Control F. Now we just scroll it all the way over here. See how it's copied this bit? Now what we're going to do from here is once we've scrolled it all the way across, that's about the same. Confirm, finish. Now that we have both the swoops and a couple of the trees, we can now copy this side, flip it back, so that way, and then once we've removed the slope, or at least hidden the slope part, from the front or back at that point, we can then flip it the other way and it should fix the issue. Hopefully. If not, I dread to think what's actually going to happen. Did I not copy this side's front? I guess I did not. Control F. This is a fairly simple one, we're just scrolling it all the way to the other side. Make sure it's on the right way. That is a 2-block center, we have to remember. Confirm, finish. Why? Why have you done that? Is this not at the center? Okay, so that is at the center of this side. And yet, I see what I've done wrong. Okay, yeah, no, that's completely fine. What we need to do now is, I guess, rotate this quarter, or this half, no, we need to cancel that. From here. Oops. Over here, and then we look over here. Control F. And that should provide us a mirrored image. That should take care of our little misalignment issue. I would say so because we don't see our block. And it's not in this part that's hidden behind the wall. That's great. Empty that bit out. So for, I guess for everyone, last week I finished the rim. I finished this rim from in the last episode, and I added in this part. What is this part, you may ask? This part is a gutter. It's supposed to be one of those fancy in the floor gutters. Well, all gutters are in the floor. One of those fancy gutters that looks artistic yet also has a function to it. This one, wholly impractical because there is no rain, water, build-up collision that we need to take care of. The idea being, in the real world, in quotation marks, the water would be guided through a gentle slope into the gutter and either fall through the exit point out there, or alternatively down here. And I didn't really get round to it, but the idea was to, I guess we can do it now, have a part down here that basically removes the water wholly through the use of drainage. For now they're just going to be blank, of course, because why would they need to be anything else? Something that we can do is actually dig these out. What is my ultimate goal of doing all of this, aside from apart from bringing a rather fascinating architectural project to life again in heavy quotation marks? The reason why I'm doing this is because concept architecture has always been a thing that I find really beautiful, because it's a world without limits. It's the architect's pure imagination basically being distilled onto some form that we can comprehend. And the cenotaph to Sir Isaac Newton is perhaps one of the greatest versions, in my opinion, of how a country should be remembering a hero. Maybe not in Sir Isaac's case, maybe not from their own kin, but somebody who helped bring about their great nation, as it were. This was supposed to be part of the whole French Revolution's the king is dead, there is no rules, everything's reset, we're building a country again, for the French, by the French. There are, we could do massive projects now. What should we do? And being an architect, being formerly of a great mind for the king, being formerly a recognised architect in his own right and was part of the Royal Academy of Architecture in France, sat on the board of the National Architecture Board for France during the French Revolution, and proposed this and developed it over the course of a few months and a few weeks, or a few weeks, months, maybe a year or two. And when the French turned around and went, nah, we're good actually, this isn't actually doable, so we're not really going to do this. We'll probably do something smaller if you've got something like that. If not, it's a fascinating architectural study, and that is something that he points out in his art book that he wrote. Hell, deleting that part. I guess what we could do, getting back to the project, is extrude, get that out, and shrink this. Hopefully, don't destroy all of the work we did leading up to this point. to do is probably expand this part just for the future. Why are you separating? That's what your meter does. Do that then. Come on. Yeah. Now that's starting to come along, isn't it? If I go to F1. I wish there was a way to come out of or change oh, hang on. Now you'll be able to see that. You can really start to see it take shape now, can't you? Oh. There's the image, there's the image. Try and fit the entire thing on the screen now. There we go. You can really start to see it take shape. And by the time we do the back, we have to decide whether or not we want to actually start the inside or the outside next. Bring back our HUD so we can actually see things. Well, that's a point. We should probably copy this side onto the other side. The external guttering, I guess. This bit. I suppose for now we could just flip it here. Confirm, finish. I thought I had actually placed those last parts in, but apparently I did not. Which means I've now got to go around and fix it. Not too big of a issue. A issue? I was going to say a issue. An issue. As we need to go to the other side. Just copy and paste that part over. Because it's only one single segment. You don't really need to flip it. Wonderful. How is everybody's day? All good? I hope so. I have had a very bad day. Work has been very interesting without having to go too deep into it. I ordered a new bed, which is always a fun time, and we feel very grown up. The issue is taking apart my old bed that I am planning on using in my log burner, because because it's made out of wood and I can do that. And then my leg is dead because I put it weirdly. My old bed, made out of wood, I think it's called a Denovian. What the fuck? Well, my switch is gone. Anyway, my room's a mess because I am making space for my bed and taking my old one apart. The Denovian bed, which I have found out, because I hired a couple of guys to move it in, I didn't realise it was made out of wood. And kind of self-evident when it creaks and you get into it. And at the time I was thinking, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Taking it apart's going to be easy. It's full of screws and that. The wheels were the caster wheels that it was on, made out of whatever the hell they make caster wheels out of, attached via screws. The rest of it is staple. It's held together by staples. And here I was thinking, I could get this all done in an afternoon, waiting for my bed to come by the end of the week. I could sleep on my sofa or on the floor, it's not a big deal. Chat, you would not believe me when I said it took about 4 hours to take one side off. One side, I tried everything to get the sides apart. I broke 2 screwdriver bits of mine trying to pull the fucking nails out, sorry. Nothing, right? The best that it got me was 2 pieces of wood on one side, and I cut my left hand to shit. Again, sorry. I tried a bit again today before the stream. I have now got the other side, or the top and the same side. They're completely gone, right? And I cut the same hand again. My left hand is 30% plaster at this point. So the bed that I've ordered, for anybody who cares, is a very nice ottoman. It'll fit very nicely in the place that my former bed was, because my former bed made my entire room look shit. Again, sorry. And now, it will look, it's made out of metal and bolts and stuff of that nature, so I won't have to cut my hand up if I was to try and get rid of it in 7 years' time. That's how long I've had my current bed. Honestly, if you want to get a bed, never go for a Denovian if you want to try and rip it up for a fireplace or to burn it, or even to get it out of your house. Not entirely sure how they got it in here in the first place, to be honest, because I had to go to work and I had hired a family member to, well, yeah, I'll say that. I paid them in alcohol beverages. So, I don't really know how they got it in, but it was in, and now it's going out. Now you could ask, why not just, why not just get the guys who's bringing your new bed in? Why don't they recycle the bed that you've currently got? If it's made out of wood, it'll be lightweight, it'll go down your stairs. Here's the thing, they won't take it. The reason why I had to get a new bed in the first place was because it was broken to shit. Again, sorry. Now, before anybody says anything, not technically my fault that it was broken. I was getting a new radiator put in place in my room because, you know, coming up to summer when you don't actually need a radiator, I was thinking that it would be better to do it then rather than in the middle of winter. Big mistake not hiring that guy again, because he dropped the radiator on my bed, which is why it's broken, which is why I have to buy a new one. Now you could say, oh, you could just fix it if it's made out of wood. Tried that. No, doesn't work. Not quite right, if you know what I mean. I mean, it barely functioned to hold up to hold the mattress in the first place. So, my history with this bed is just nothing but pain and misery, so I'm glad that it's going. At the same time, it could have gone a little smoother. And I just realised this should be extruded out a bit, which we have the ability to do, thank Christ. So we expand that bit, probably get rid of that bit, get rid of that bit, get rid of that bit, good, that bit, and then get rid of that, that bit, that bit, that bit, that bit, that bit, that bit, but get rid of this part. Take off the replacement, replace that bit. There we go. Same thing goes with over here. Probably should have started from the same place again. Et voilà. And now we can just replace these parts. Something that my chat is disabled. Why is chat disabled? No. Chat is no longer disabled. Can enable now the chat. There we go. I should be able to see you now. And let me just get these blocks. Fill you in. We don't really need to do that, do we? We could, in alternatively, this should work. Yeah, look. Much better, very quick. Ah, okay, I see an issue slightly. Hello, the Bat Pack. Hello, how are you? Welcome to my stream. I hope you stick around. We are building, as you can see on screen, the Cenotaph to Sir Isaac Newton by Étienne-Louis Boullée. He was a French architect during the revolution that they had and designed massive, incredible megastructures that I really do think we could I'm proving that we could very easily replicate in Minecraft and to try and help inspire people for their next builds. So I hope you enjoy the stream. Thank you. I'm going to be completely honest. You are the first person in my chat to watch my stream ever. you are the first person. I know it says 8 followers on my Twitch thing, but that's only because I have no clue where they came from, and they just disappear. They don't show up or anything. So you are effectively the first person ever to see this. Well, aside from me, of course. But yeah, if you want to stick around, I'm sure we could have a great time. It's not going to be fun, I'm afraid. There's not. Do you? That's a very weird thing that happens. I guess Twitch just has they feel sorry for some people and go, hey, you could have a follow or two. So yeah, what I do with this is I stream it on here, and then I don't really watch streams on Twitch, but yeah, that's very funny. I think the only people that I saw on Twitch was probably about 8 years ago, I think, and it was Full Symmetry. If you watch her content, she's another Minecraft YouTuber. She does Hermitcraft, which I highly advise you check out if you haven't seen it already and interested in this kind of stuff. But yeah, what I do is I stream here, I download the VOD, and then I put it onto my YouTube channel, which is under the same name. So if people miss the streams here, they don't actually have to come to Twitch. They could just stay on YouTube if they're browsing randomly. So yeah, if you are interested in seeing the previous streams, they're there. I may be a bit unhinged in a couple of them, but you know, it's just how things happen. To be honest, no clue what that is, but it sounds interesting. I hope it goes well for you. I really should stop doing that. Oh, there we go. Ah, I see. Ah, that's fascinating. I don't I don't really play all that many games. I just finished Atomfall 2 weeks ago, although I do sort of need to try and fine tune it a bit because the audio was scuffed. But, you know, I really enjoyed the game. And I have been looking for other things to play, so I might give it a go. This bit doesn't really need to be perfect because it's all being hidden anyway. That is a lot of hours. To be honest, I don't know how many hours I have in Minecraft because it's one of the few games that I can just enjoy peacefully playing. But yeah, I bet with 10,000 hours, I mean, I've got roughly about 600 hours in Helldivers 2, and I only started playing that maybe a year ago, and I could not imagine playing 10,000 hours of anything. So I quite like how you can enjoy a game like that so much. From what I've heard, they're quite challenging games. That's still a lot of hours. 6,200 or 6,200, however you want to say it. Still a lot of games. Still a lot of hours for a game. I guess when you have to, from what I know of the game, for instance, from what I know of the game, it's quite a brutal game. And I've seen some people play it, and it does seem, at least in my opinion, very unfair on the player's end. But I guess that's the fun of it. That's the challenge. Not a lot of people really appreciate that, I guess. Wrong keys. Yeah, well, that's just because I'm really bad at games. I'm really bad at games, so I suppose if I start playing it, it is going to feel unfair, but you know, that's how it works, I guess. T function doesn't work, I've got to replace that. Yeah, like I said, I guess that's where the challenge comes from. It's a challenging game. Don't want to expand that. And I think that it's pretty great how a game like that does exist, because it gives people challenge. It gives them a drive, I guess, to actually complete something, because it's, I don't know if I'm getting this across well, because it's, sorry, oh Jesus Christ, sorry, I had spicy chicken for dinner. It's coming back with a vengeance. Now that sounds like fun, to be honest. Especially when you look at it from a lore perspective. Imagine it, you are a boss. You have been charged with stopping adventurers from going into a dungeon, and you get beaten by some guy who turns you into cheese. Or is that Skyrim? I think that's Skyrim. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, very bad at actually recognising games, because a lot of the medieval kind of style games just sort of blend together over a while for me. It's like that new medieval game, 1354, I think it's called. That I saw a demo for that, and I was looking at that and saying, is that not just Avowed? Is that just not the Avowed game that they tried to release a couple of days ago? Yeah, I suppose it is unique when you have things like the phrase Souls-like explaining I guess, hack and slash dungeon crawlers, or whatever. How far back does this go? Do I need to... So it goes up to the first single pillar. So... where is that? There. Okay. Let me switch this to clone. Grab this. Control R. I will do. In fact, you know what? I will do that now, because why not? I have the time. Dark Souls. Well, let's try. Oh, I've seen this. I've seen this about. It's a meme thing, isn't it? Well, it's a meme thing for me. Yeah, no, that does look quite cozy. Yeah, no, that's great. I think that's going to look very good. Oh. Don't want to press F. Not yet. Yeah, I hope that you get it to how much you want to look. I hope it works out well. I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be positive. That should be that sorted. Yeah, confirm. Now I'm going to look that way. Control F. Put that to the other side. Now, why has that happened? That's not connecting. Why aren't you connecting? Okay. I'm so glad Axiom has been invented, because I tried doing something with World Edit when I was thinking of how to actually do this series. I was trying to use World Edit. Could not for the life of me. Yeah. World Edit was great back when there was no other option. When you have no other option, the product that you have at the time works best. The only issue is that when you have things like doing all sorts of... Take this, for example, this screen. You could do so much just with these little tools alone than you could anything with World Edit. And you basically have to learn how to code just to try and use one small function. It's insane. Now if we do it to here, and then Control R, rotate it, Control F, no. suppose that there are some pros and cons with everything. Yeah, I think that World Edit's ruler is better, because when I tell you that this ruler up here, this ruler sucks. Because the camera, once you're in this position, it's very stiff. And so to try and use this, because you click it on one block and then you have to drag it to where it needs to be. But, I can't believe I just did that. I didn't think that that was going to stay there. You know, something that I have just realised, instead of trying to do the exact same thing over and over again. Yeah, that's my point. You have to sort of go into this weird editing thing, and it just sucks. I used it maybe one time to try and figure out the distance of things. Not going to use it again. I prefer the old classic, using different coloured blocks to count things. Very useful. That should be enough. Yeah, I would highly suggest doing that. Probably on the tool bit that I'm using now, if you could just have the erase bit and then have a ruler at the end of that. That would be cool. That would be a nice accessible bit. Control R. Spin that to where I need to go, and then up here and unlock. Hopefully, it should work. If not, I don't know what I've done wrong with this. I mean, yeah, if you know the guy or have a friend who knows the guy, and you can get that as a thing, that would probably be a really cool thing for your friend to do, or whatever, just to know that it's a good feedback. What is going on? Am I placing it weirdly? Or is... Yeah, I'm just placing it weirdly. Okay. So instead of copying that 50,000 times, I'm just going to move what I already have here. I mean, yeah, if Axiom genuinely becomes the better version of World Edit, I mean, more than it already is, and people don't really need to use World Edit anymore, he's basically cornered the market as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I know there's a few other tools out there as well, but even still. I mean, I would not be able, 3 weeks into this, is it 3 weeks or is it 4 weeks? 4 weeks into this project, be able to get here. Yeah, I would not be able to get to this stage of the project in 4 weeks. I would still be trying to figure out how to do the inner circle. I would still be doing the inner circle with the amount of stuff that I need to just constantly copy and paste everywhere. Oh, why are you like that? Get rid of you. Don't need you. And the ability to just remove wholly linked blocks as well. Something I couldn't be able to do with World Edit. I knew that there was a thing that you could do in World Edit, but just... Something that does terrify me about Axiom, however, is, where is it? The terrain tools that they've got. Yeah, the rock tool. I could never get better than, figure that out. Yeah, the rock... There's just too many problems with World Edit, especially considering I think a lot of people switched over to Axiom when World Edit wasn't updating as often as people were expecting it to. And so with World Edit having a new update every other week, yeah. I mean, thankfully I don't really plan on doing terrain anytime soon. But, I mean, if you really want to figure out just how far this project is going to go, this is just one of, I think, 50 different projects of his. And one of them is called A Temple to the Supreme Being. Now, with the French going from very heavily religious society to basically atheistic in the span of, I think, 40 years. Obviously, you can't really just do that without some Christian stuff going through. So, the Temple of the Supreme Being was Etienne's answer to how we can, help people figure that out by just creating one of the biggest construction projects ever. And I'm talking, this thing could rival Babel. That's how big it was. And here's the thing, that project was comprised of a variety of different projects. And there is... It dwarfs them, as much as I can say. I've seen a lot of people do it, but I've never been able to understand them after they've actually completed it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like, I can understand why people would do it, because it's one of those things of, don't do this, otherwise you'll figure out the consequences for it, so people do it anyway. Yeah, it's... I mean, not just a build, it's sort of overdone in general, because it's a story that's been around for, well, 2026 years or so. Oh, shit. I didn't want to do that. There we go. Oh, that's because it is. I mean, you can't be wrong if it is actually what it is. It's just some Catholic guy going, you know what, all my political enemies, they're going to be burning in hell. I'm going to be going to heaven. Fuck you. Sorry. I do try not to swear. I don't like swearing as often as I do in real life. I feel not bereaved or dismayed. I feel, I guess in a way, disgusted about how much I swear sometimes. It's just, I think it's a lot nicer if I didn't swear as much, so I've been really trying to cut it back. However, much like my coffee addiction, it's not really working out very well. So if we... Why do you not have a base? It's because I've copied the other side. I copied you, which is the correct version, not you over here. So I guess to solve that issue, I should just copy you. Yeah, I'm assuming you've also seen the Wendigoon video, because I haven't read Dante's Inferno. I've tried to read it. I got maybe one part into it before he actually goes into hell, and I was just, I can't read this. It's too up and down poetic for me. If I want to read a story, I'll read a story, but yeah, seeing Wendigoon's video of it really did change how I perceived it as well. So, there. One block off. I'm always one block off. Yeah, I suppose so. But you got to be honest, the way that Dante talks about it, like before humanity actually discovered the planets, I guess, rediscovered, and then they did discover them again due to Galileo, and then people are now saying, oh yeah, because of the firmament, you're looking up to the heavens, and the heavens are the planets and the sun and all of that kind of stuff. So it would make sense that heaven as a concept for him would be, well, if there's circles of hell, then there's got to be circles of heaven, and it's all just a cone or planets or whatever. Is it flip? Yeah, it's flip. I do think, however, Dante missed a trick or two by how he actually described it, because obviously not really knowing the actual scope of the solar system and the order of the planets, he did sort of not really make an astronomically correct version, I guess, of why does that happen like that? Of heaven. It's just how... Oh, it's because it goes further back. Ah. Oh well. We can fix this. Whatever's left. I've got to say, it's been very nice having somebody to actually talk to instead of feeling like you're going insane for 3 hours. Which, I should probably mention, I am going to be going on for 3 hours, but as I'm 1 hour 14, hour 15, about halfway through, so... Yeah, if you want to dip out at any time, or go through the end, that's fine with me. I don't really mind. I just think that it's going to be pretty neat if you stay. Not saying that as a coercion or anything. I should probably correct these. Oh no, that's much better. Where's the point? If we... Right. Picture this. And now, if I go over to this one, that's how close I am to the actual finished project. Which, fingers crossed, should be in a couple of weeks' time with the way that I'm progressing now. So, just need to really do the trees, I should think. That should take us a while. Figure out how to actually do them. Because yeah, they're in a circle, but they're also dotted. So they're in a dotted circle. This one up here should be very easy because just put podzol around in between that wall and this wall and it should be okay. It's the ones out here that I think it's going to be an issue with. Move these over. I am not entirely sure how to do that. How easy is that to do? Operations. Yeah. I think that's going to have to be something that I do in between this week and next week, because that menu is just too confusing for me. I've got to be honest. I think for now I could probably do the final retainment wall, I guess, up here, and then figure it out from there. It's something that I do love about this design is this part up here specifically, because it is designed to be a place of reflection and all of that kind of stuff. And how you actually get to this part up here is in the drawings. In the central chamber, there are staircases that go alongside the walls from the central chamber, and you walk out this really dark corridor, and you come out to hopefully a bright, clear sky, and you're framed with trees. So you're greeted by trees, evidence of life in a world of darkness, and then you're given two options to go up. I like poeticism, or however you want to call it, when it comes to architecture. Is why I despise modern architecture, man. There is so many things that modern architecture gets wrong for me. Oh, I know something that I've got to get out before the stream. I have in my auto shape. I don't like auto shape. To be honest, I don't like texturing in Minecraft builds as a rule. Mostly because it's confusing for me, but also I think it takes away too much from the other tools that we have available for creation and that, because it basically forces you to see a perspective of what a build is, rather than building something for the sake of building something and not really having to really force people's eyes elsewhere. Usually when I see Minecraft builds, they do texturing and all that kind of stuff, and baking, lighting. With you, why are you blue? Really don't want to do this. Okay, sorry about the stream dropping. It's going to be very interesting because I haven't spliced a stream and a recording together before. But let's hope it goes better than me just trying to stream a game, which for whatever reason has turned into a... Oh, what's... Herculean task, that's the word for it. So in between recording and, well, in between this recording and streaming, I tried to create the sphere that was on the top, and this was where I had it. Initially I thought I had done it correctly, however this was, while this was going to be the center point, it's wrong. It should not actually be this low. It should be about this tall, about here. So we have to now come to this and hopefully try and figure out how to successfully transpose the sphere, if that is the right term for it. Now hopefully it should still be loaded, which is true. These are the dimensions for it. It is actually an oval, an oblong, I guess. Not an oblong. I suppose so. A squished sphere. And it is made out of quartz bricks. The reason why I'm doing quartz bricks is because instead of doing the smooth quartz or the normal quartz, is because I want to give it the idea that it is actually a constructed sphere made out of bricks, same way as all of the other places are made out of constructed quartz blocks and not smooth blocks except for details. And so hopefully when we place it, if we can, in the right place, it should fit well. So instantaneously I know that it should actually be one block this way, so it fits what we have over here. But I also know that it should be 4 blocks smaller. So we'll try and correct that. how that's on this wall, which we don't want it to be. So we are 148. Am I off by so much? Us to there. 144. Suppose it'll have to be. How's it looking for the other sides? That one is looking odd. Why do you look odd? Surely you should be the same, right? Yeah. So you're block short on either end there. Let's trek. Trek? I suppose it will be a trek. Let's check the other side. And you're also a block off on either end. So far looking good, meaning that it's in the center. You look to be about the same, and you look to be about the same. Cool. Now we have had to drop that down quite a way, by about 10. What's it looking like on the ground? Okay, so it looks like we're also going to have to do this by about, or shrink this by about 10 as well, just to get it to the proper height and everything. Should give us this spheroid. There we go. Now this is absolutely dreadful up here. Don't worry about the floor. Maybe worry about the god beam that's coming through. I don't know what that's about. We should have, yeah, 2 blocks around all here. Now it means we've got to do the circle around here. If this is, what did we say it was? 144. Then this is 146, 48, 150. What's the base of this made out of? Diorite. Don't want to go in there. Come in here. Polished diorite should be at the top, shouldn't it? There we go. Now we want a flat shape. Same axis. $150. placed here. Is it that one? Yeah, it's that one. Now, hopefully, when we come out, it should. There we go. So we're one off and one down, which we could easily fix. Keep doing that. 152 then. Sure, that looks about centered. Yeah. Now you can't fly very quick in here. It does need to go one back, which I'm surprised at, but then it's not going to be centered on either side on the other side. Why is that? You're not going to be... Yeah, you're 2, and then it comes down to flush here. So maybe 150 was a good idea. Sorry that the stream dropped out. I have no clue why that is. I don't have the heating on. I don't have anything to actually heat up the place. Maybe it's because my door's closed most of the time, but that hasn't affected it any other time. Now that's fascinating because now you're 2 off and... What? You're now centered, but you aren't, because you're now 1 behind. And it can't be because it's not perfectly symmetrical, because I've used the symmetry tool. I've literally created the circle that it is based off of. And I know for a fact that it is circle, and this is a circle maker using the same axis. And you're plumb. Also not really. So you are plumb. Plumb meaning flat and straight, by the way. And yet if I was to come around here, nothing. But if I was to do this and change that to 52, that's right. What about over here? That's 1 off. Am I going to have to do the this upper ridge again as a completely new thing? You're plumb. What about the other sides? So you're 1 off, you're plumb, you're good. Is it just the fact that I need to move it 1 back each way? How are you? You're good. What? This is confusing. And I quite literally have no idea, because the circle that this is supposed to be inside of is circular, because we used the same tool. We used the same tool. I really can't change it any more than it is. So you fit there. It fits on the other side. If it just fits on the front, we're going to have to just change the front, because there's literally nothing. You don't butt up against the sphere, which you're supposed to, neither do you. I knew that this was going to be difficult, but I didn't know it was going to be this difficult. But it's flush with you. What the? Okay, so to recap what's actually happening here. I have created a circle that does not fit within the points that the circle is supposed to fit. I have created a sphere that only fits on one point that it's supposed to fit. I do not know what to do. What I will do is I'm going to say solid. I'm going to try again. Can we check history? Cannot check history. What's this? That's you. And I cannot fix you. I'm going to have to redo this sphere. Before I do that, I'm going to have to figure out what the hell is going on over here. Is it the fact that you have been pushed inwards one? Dirt blocks are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it is you. It's you who's causing the issue. So I've decided to push you back for whatever reason. I need move. focus on the sphere, we're going to focus on the circle. The circle is much more important. For now, at least. Put that up 1. And if everything goes well, it should be the same on all sides. And that's good. That's good. And so by cause of logic, this should be good. Cool. Enter that. Now, if we were to change this to a solid, change this from a solid to a cylinder, and then put this to, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 7 blocks. There we are. Come over here, change it from diorite. This on here, make it hollow. Why aren't you hollow? Come on. Guess it's just going to have to be that way then. There we are. Get the extrude tool. Shrink the floor down. Shrink the roof to resistance. And maybe what we could do, oh, didn't I do that? Push the right tool, block of quartz, quartz again, it's the quartz bricks. We do flat. Go here, we put it down 1, and that should be this outer wall all sorted, minus, you know, the intermediary wall that we need to replace. to get it one more up. Like so. And that's that part done. I guess for the sake of it, we could just do pale oak. Completely missed that. So far looking good. Yep, there we go. Now we can just fill in the area around here with the pod cell, and it should all work. Before we do that, however, I want to check something. One hour 20 minutes. Okay. Now how long is this recording? 26 minutes. Which means we have 1 hour more to do, I guess, because it goes up to 60, not 100 or 50. Get rid of my tabs that I don't need anymore. I forgot to show Backpack my little house thing that I was doing over here. I'm sure they'll see it eventually. And hopefully, you'll see it now. Boom, there it is. A little kind of funky Egyptian style build. Based off of something that I saw on DeviantArt. Does these two layers have the ring around it? Decorative ring. Where did I put the picture? Here. No, they don't. They do have a ledge. Cool. this quartz ledge over here. Put on these two. And then the pods will go on there. Sorry if you could hear any traffic, because for the sake of not overeating my computer to death, I now have the window open, which means that you can hear the traffic outside. Hopefully not. I'm really hoping not. It would suck if you did. Why am I doing this by hand, you ask? That is a good question. I guess I'm just going to trust the process on this. I have to say, I quite enjoyed that little conversation that we had. I'm really surprised that my Twitch integration to Minecraft text chat works as well as it does. Although it should be interesting if more people were to start talking, because that would probably fill up my screen very quickly. That place, and I'm just going to go flip. Did I stop on that one or that one? The first, that one. could have done is only done up to this quarter, and I could have mirrored it. Okay, so it's here. I suppose we could have 2 bits of smoke. I don't really think it matters that much. Get from here then. All the way over here. So that's the edge of you. That's the edge of you. Perfect. Control F. You're all good. There we go. So now we should have 2 sets of stairs. Which we do. We have 2 sets of pots, chimneys, I don't know, smoke generators. Now the one up here doesn't look like it actually has a rim, because it's just a flat wall. all? I don't know. I think it's because if I could just do a quarter, it would make more sense, but if I use the circle tool, I could probably get this done very quick. I'm just going to do it like this for now because why not? We have forever to get this project finished, or until I die, one of the two. Hopefully not the latter one. Everyone quiet, I'm just concentrating. I know it's not really something that you need to be concentrating for, but I guess concentrating isn't the word then. Hypnotized, I guess. Probably not hypnotized. I'm sure there's a word for it. Transfixed, I guess. Say he's placing Potso. What even is Potso? If you know, let me know in the comments below. I hate it when YouTubers do that. I think it's funny because there's a YouTuber who's called Let Me Know solely for the reason that YouTubers keep saying it all the time. I mean, I know I said it. But when you have a comeback to that, so I'll shot myself in the foot with that one. Bumpty bumpty bump. We're getting there, boys and girls, we're getting there. That's one corner done. I suppose we could also get the trees done, but if we do the trees, then we might as well just copy the entire upper section over and over again. But that would defeat the entire purpose of why we did the wall. If we joys, absolute joys. There's no going up either. You have to cycle through everything again. Here we are. Clone it by 2. Now these are 2 out, so it should be okay. diagonal should be interesting, I think. When we get to that point, we'll just do the one. We'll go by one. First we'll do the back ones, just to find the rough centre, if you can call it a centre. Actually, let's mark these out. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm counting the actual block here that I'm replacing over again as the block that we're talking about, not the actual blocks themselves, for anyone wondering. I'm sure we could just put an armor stand there and call it a statue or whatever. Okay. Place those ones. Like so. Those two would be like that. If we make it look like a good pedestal block. Suppose we could do a jukebox. Not for any particular reason, just because why not? Functional, get the armor stand, have that little guy standing there all exposed to the elements like that, so we'll get him some clothes to make him look like a statue. Or should a skeleton head be better? We'll do a skeleton head. Just so it actually looks like a face. I have just realised I did need to be wrong. That will sort it out soon. trouble we have now is the fact that if I was to start it from that end, I would need to find an imaginary point over there to fix it to. Instead of the ground for not copying it directly. It's going to have to be the floor, isn't it? This is the one thing that I didn't want to happen. Seems to have encapsulated everything. Good, good. Flip it. See, I don't want to put an actual two-tool tree in because it's either going to dwarf the project or dwarf the trees that we already have, or mix with the trees that we already have and dwarf the project. Basically be a big nuisance. Sad news, boys. I've got the last of my tea here. What do you think about just having it open? I'll leave it open for now. only for the back ones. What we'll do is we'll copy one of these over. Just to close that gap. And also the fact that we don't actually have, aside from the front view, an actual depiction of what's on the front. I'm going to add a chair. Still keeps the perspective. I quite like it. Okay, what's happened here? Time to delete some, I guess. We're not going to do a bench here because it's an entrance where you want to get in and out. side here. Now that makes it so much nicer because it's coming together so well now. Down here that's going to be a real issue because those trees aren't supposed to even be there. They terminate in between the stairs and the slope, which is going to be interesting. Also, remove that bit now. Is it the same on this side? No. We don't have another bit over there, nor do we have it over there. Cool. And I guess to finish off this mighty beast, at least for now, and its statues can stay as they are. I don't really mind about those. We can put in the sphere. Quartz bricks, there you are. Solid super sphere. Control 150. Control 138. Control 50. Hollow, yes. Place you on here. And everything has turned into a PowerPoint presentation. So looking at the floor's looking good. The external walkway is a little too far affected, but it looks centered, which is good. We do 248 by 148. Okay. 146 by 146. Is that the same all the way around? Yes, it is. We place that, we come out of it, and this is how it's looking. Ladies and gentlemen, we are almost complete. We are almost complete. We have the inside to do, we have the trees out here to do, and we have what I think we're probably going to have to do later as the final stage, the actual interior of the sphere itself. Question is, according to my drawings, is that deep enough? No, it is actually wrong. It is not deep enough. It is too deep. So we're going to have to undo that. And come higher. Whereabouts higher? We'll guess. Here. Then move it one back. Maybe one down. Oh, much better. You really do want to see the circles. It's the height that we're looking for. Delete these blocks now, I don't think we actually need them. There is part of me who wants to try and see what would happen if we use the smooth tool on this, just so that we have sphere, like a smoothness to the sphere. Using stairs and slabs and that, but I don't think it will look good considering the fact that we're not using actual full blocks of quartz. Such as down here, we're using the bricks, which have this sort of brick texture, I guess. So if we would put, it'll be easier to just get something down here. If we were to get the smooth quartz, for example, and start placing it around, it's going to detract from the overall thing. And shelves don't really work well because they're indented, so they don't work as slabs. That was my footstool, not me. How does it look from the ground? Yes, that's about the height that I'm going for. I mean, really, if you wanted to do a mega base, you could probably just do this outside with the trees. Leave this actual bit open, and you have what would already be a cool effect. Because when you look at this. Defying gravity, sure, not really something new, or building defying gravity, I guess at this point. Not really something new in the Minecraft sphere, but even still. It should be Minecraft Cube. And that's somebody who actually wants to figure out the semantics will have to figure out. Don't really need that anymore because the top is done. So it will do, however. Let's do that. Why? I don't know. Didn't really need to. Where's it gone? Lightning rod. trees, or we do the interior? Because the interior is rather basic. I'm not planning on filling all of this in with whatever. I am just going to be doing the corridors and surrounding chambers, because in the plan of the building itself there is 4 chambers, each cut in one direction. It's not really specified what those chambers are for. I think it's some sort of way to do a museum piece of the different things that he's done, like gravity and algebra and stuff like that. Maybe even one with just his life story. Which I think we might do. It would be fun, educational. But nothing would compare to actually completing the top though. Speaking of, very simple to just come around here and fulfill this, wouldn't it? Oh, what's going to be easier, doing that or placing it by hand? This shouldn't even be planks now that I've realised it. This should actually be just diorite. Should it even be that? Because the thing is, this is supposed to be guttering, right? The sphere. And guttering usually is filled with weird nonsense. I think, purely for spectacle, we'll do sea lintel. We'll place this with sea lintel, and then at night it should glow. I mean, it should also light up downstairs, but the rest of the structure as well. that now it's become too bright to see anything, and that is something I did not expect to say. I don't actually have an objection to that. What am I talking about? I could do that. That would save me so much time. And because the eclipse, the equator, the bisection that we're doing is spherical to some degree, it should work. Something's gone wrong along the lines, and I'm not entirely sure what. See what I mean by giving it an effect? I mean, you have to be within quite a close render distance. I don't think it will probably work down here. What about up here? Vaguely. This is what I want to go for, this sort of glowing effect. So, what if I do /set block? There we go. We have now our viewing platform. I'm really happy with how this is turning out, and fingers crossed this will probably be one of the few episodes left before we actually try and get the floor done. I mean, the floor is irrelevant. The main building is what it is. According to some hypothetical plans that I've seen, the grounds itself that it's supposed to be on is vast and full of French gardens and gardening. I don't like that. I don't like French gardens. They aren't that good, I'm going to be honest. But then again, I much prefer English gardens for obvious reasons. with that being said, I am sorry that this stream/video had to be done in such a way. I am going to figure out what is actually happening with my computer so that it doesn't cut out when everything is going on. We have come to the end of this time that we've allotted for, well, I've allotted for this.